All right, so for those of you who don't know, the Bianca in the top right corner is the #2 player right now. Arguably the best player in Black Survival at all. And some of you who have been in the Black Survival Discord server with Sia have seen them talk about this player. Most of the North American players refer to them as Seven, and that's just because that was one of their usernames at one point. And so I'll be referring to that Bianca as Seven, just because that's how I know him as. They've been as Inukai Neko. They've been the #1 spot multiple times. They're a very strong player, and the only reason why, like, arguably they're not #1 right now is because their competition for the #1 spot is somebody who plays in NA. These are two players that literally don't get to play against each other anymore. We have some popular names in here. We have Plenilune Gaze. They are also known as Miwa on Discord. We have gimmeanick, Keddsan. Indonesian Kara does some art on Twitter and Instagram. You should definitely check them out. And I also know Inukai. I know Seven live streams as well, but they don't do it on Twitch. I need to turn the sound on. All right, let's get this started. Yeah, so Seven is trolling. Bianca is not considered a good character right now. So it looks like Bianca started Hospital.
I hope the sunlight isn't too strong.
And they started Fresh Sashimi. Very powerful. And they started Running Shoes. Also powerful. So
I hope the sunlight isn't too strong.
it looks like both Biancas probably contested each other at Hospital, and this Bianca decided wasn't worth the contest just from supplies. Rotzi is starting the classic beach start for gun.
The sunlight isn't too strong. Busker Heart Performance will
Keddsan already has oilcloth, able to get a high heals right away. This is actually a very good armor start. And Keddsan has a lot of options with what to do with the oilcloth. Here comes the bloody hand spam. Decided to get the fresh sashimi out of the inventory. Probably just way too much healing early in the game. I actually do that too, trying to get the big heals out of my inventory early on because it just clogs up. So it looks like Gimmeanick is actually going to be able to start working towards a tuxedo. Already having their second cloth ready. Unfortunately for Indonesian Kara, looks like they started. Uptown was able to get double chocolate, but they weren't able to get any armor yet. And it's already been 1 minute and 30 seconds in the game. Probably just bad luck. Plenilune Gaze is carrying around double steel chain. Has their twin source already carrying an ice. Oh. Yeah, Plenilune Gaze has to leave. They still have play dead up, so they actually have 80 HP. Their HP is a little bit deceptive that way. So they're still pretty safe.
It's time to set a record.
It looks like the Leon was unable to find alcohol and scissors. We'll have to see if he commits to the dress. We'll see what he does. It looks like they're looking for bicycle helmets so that they can go straight into racing helmet. That's what it looks like to me. And the next XGtrax is going the classic factory start ballista setup. They weren't able to get it as smoothly as you'd prefer, being contested over at Town Hall, so they had to do a little bit of flexing. They were actually able to get braised potato, which makes their early game very safe.
Let's go for full speed.
I still can't get over that the English voice actor for Sylvia actually did an Argentinian accent and actually got it down correctly. It's pretty wonderful. They're going the very classic blade boots into pirate flag, which makes their blitzes incredibly strong. Something to look out for in the mid game. That's typically how Sylvia wins, is by spamming blitz in the mid to late game, where they're not going to be taking trades with normal attacks. They're going to be taking trades with blitzes. And it only has a 20-second cooldown. Very, very powerful skill. Looks like the Leon did not commit to the dress, decided instead to go for covered agent uniform. And as I predicted earlier, they did get a racing helmet. One of the things that you can do on Bianca is you can use your weapon slot as an extra inventory slot. So they're just holding a hammer, which they're going to be able to use for their build later. Looks like that they probably want to get drop near, and they're holding the hammer for a TV, most likely. But if they get scrap metal, they may decide to switch it up, but they've already decided that they don't want the arm warmers. Looks like they're going to be forcing the drop near to try to win the game that way. Plenilune Gaze actually has a very good setup to get Hero Helmet done. They almost have their LCD panel done, and that tends to be the most difficult part of Hero Helmet. They just need to be able to get a blueprint at this point. And the XGtrax is trying to get their build underway, but it looks like they're just getting contested very heavily. So usually, like with the amount of food they have, your early game's very smooth, but they just got contested way too hard. That happens. It's part of the game. We'll see if they'll be able to keep up. Keddsan is committing to making a battle suit here. They really need to get double branch, which makes their build a little bit awkward. If they get glasses, they get a little bit of flexibility there, but unfortunately for them, that's just kind of how it's playing out. Armam is going for EBM17A1, very classic. And one of the strongest things on Leon is being able to get your items quickly and being able to get armor done in time. Having a Leon take this long to finish armor is very unusual, probably because they got contested very hard, but like, well, the nice thing about playing Leon is because with his passive letting him get C3 items every 30 seconds, he's able to finish his build very quickly. So even though that he's falling behind now, he should be able to finish his armor very quickly regardless. The number 2 player actually almost died. So we'll see what happens. They decide to eat the bandage and not commit to greeting it and trying to hold on to it. Inukai, 7 deciding that, you know what, we're not going to die today. Or we're going to eat our food and not randomly die to a Sylvia crit.
I hope the sunlight isn't too strong.
Dropping a hammer. And then equipping the gemstone. Okay. The annoying thing about equipping throw weapons on Bianca is that if you get surprise attack, you automatically attack back, which means that you end up losing the gemstone that way. But sometimes you have to take that risk depending on what your inventory looks like. Indonesian Kara is going to be able to try to secure a dog here, try to get the fountain pen, but they should really upgrade their weapon. They're at level 6. They can do that for free. I feel like 7 should have been equipped the Dongyi and not the gemstone, but it's like such a minor optimization that like is very easy to miss, especially when you're in game. So it looked like Armam wanted to work on their armor, but got contested off of Forest. So they decided to just finish their weapon, try to get Lighthouse for gunpowder. Keddsan has a lot of food. Plenilune Gaze is staying in the game. They're having an awkward situation where, deciding to trigger Play Dead early. That was a very early Play Dead. Okay. But yeah, Plenilune Gaze is in the classic issue of I can't finish blueprints.
To set a record.
Happens sometimes. And 7 died. Unfortunate for 7. Meanwhile, Chad is getting excited over 7 dying. I'm going to be...
Mission started. All clear.
Oh, human torpedo. I mean, Rotzi didn't have a lot of food either. So, armor either. And this is exactly what I was talking about with Leon. You're able to finish your armor so quickly. Like, even when you fall behind. And yeah, Leon is 100% going to be able to take this trade. This is a very good trade for Leon. He has so much low healing that he wants to get that out of his inventory. And looks like the Sylvia said, no, we're not taking this fight today. I'm leaving. Goodbye. So Leon's just going to continue working on his armor. One of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of people have been using glass cups this lobby. I have a feeling that Leon is going to have a little bit of difficulty finishing their helmets because of it, but we'll see what they do. if they get a read on the lobby that there aren't glass cups around, they may decide to just give up on finishing their helmet and just start fighting and making food. We'll see what happens. Yeah, the Rio had a lot of food early game, which got them through the early game. Like, if they did not get that early game food, they would be dead right now. But unfortunately, just because of how much they got contested, they are not in a very good spot to convert the mid game, which is very unfortunate. Meanwhile, Miwa actually was able to get Atlas Gauntlet this game. For those of you who don't know, there's only one Ogre skin, so it's only possible to have one Atlas Gauntlet in any given game. And with the Atlas Gauntlet, you get extra damage coming from your arm gear. And the reason why this is particularly important on Jenny is because Jenny scales off of attack very well. Her combat skill heals her based on the damage she does. And having a lot of damage coming from your combat skill is extremely important on... What's it called? Words are hard today, hello? It's extremely important on Jenny. Unfortunately, the Bianca... This is kind of the problem with Bianca, is that because of her skill, she ends up kind of just killing herself. And it's the reason why she's a bit of a troll character. Now, interestingly enough, this Bianca decided to actually build a weapon and actually has mastery. I don't know what they're trying to do, but sure, whatever makes you happy. Is this Ryu? Because I don't know Ryu's current username.
My arrows will not disappoint you.
Hybrid Bianca. Sure, we'll call it that. Okay, so it is Ryu. I thought I had Discord on Do Not Disturb. Yeah, that's not my Discord notification. That's actually this streamer's Discord notification. It's not mine.
It may be unpleasant, but I will be your worthy opponent.
I will be your worthy opponent. I'm sorry, just like hearing some of his lines in English is just funny to me. Now, Gimmeanick has Holy Blood, and they're actually going to be able to make a motor very quickly. This should be a very quick Tachyon blade. Looks like they're staying for laser pointer. You can do that. I would have just went straight for gunpowder, but I also don't know if gunpowder areas are still open, so I don't really have a right to talk there.
It's time.
Ryu's almost dead. Yeah, and this is he was actually able to get the glass cup. This is where Leon's consistency is coming into play. Like, even though that Leon has very, very low stat attack, he's able to just stay in the game by seeing so many items throughout the game. He gets to see more items in the game than any other player, which is no small deal.
The only thing I can do to improve my
Yeah,
insufficient
that's
skills is
unfortunate.
practice.
Like, this poor Rio had so much competition in the early game. Like, they were so set to do well, and then just everyone contested them to hell and back. And it's like, okay, I guess we just lose. Sylvia's not actually able to quite mount pressure quite yet because they weren't able to finish their weapon. They just finished weapon now. That being said, they have a Holy Blood, they have a Grilled Tuna, they have 2 Crimson Flowers, they have a lot of potential to put a lot of pressure onto the map. Now, what could happen is, let's just say that the Sylvia just never encounters the Leon, and then all of a sudden the Leon's able to pull ahead. That could happen, just because if Sylvia's not able to put pressure on the right players, sometimes they just lose. It happens. Sometimes they just get outvalued in the late game. But that being said, Sylvia's final 3 areas are extremely scary to play against. Oh, Ryu's almost dead. And Ryu's dead. Died to...
Let's go for full speed. Ooh.
Somebody. There were multiple people at Tunnel. I don't actually know who killed Ryu. Okay. I think the Sylvia killed Ryu and took a scroll of Dongi. Meanwhile, all of Ryu's friends are saying rip in the chat. Poor Ryu.
Let's go for full
We're getting some F spam. Well, a very small F spam, an F spam of just one person. But, you know.
It may be unpleasant.
There's the Tachyon Blade.
I will be your worthy opponent.
Unfortunately for Yuki, there's a lot of food on the other players right now. And so they're not going to be able to just like randomly get kills and pull ahead that way. But that being said, one of the things about having an orange weapon is that you get enough damage as if you were one mastery level higher than you were. And so what's basically going to end up happening is
Camera is rolling.
Yuki has a lot of potential to pull ahead just from having an orange weapon. So we'll see what happens. A lot of these players are not out of the game yet, by no means. Oh, are you going to get double hit? Nope, they're just going to leave. We're not getting double hit today. Goodbye. Yeah, this is a little bit unfortunate for the Yuki. They could just die with the Tachyon Blade. I am so sorry, friends. I feel for you. I am so sorry. You gotta leave. Oh no. So Plenilune Gaze now has the Osprey timer, which is a very big deal if you're carrying that much heated oil. Now they're looking for Bat. If they get Bat, they're able to make some choco pies. They're able to convert a lot of food and maybe be able to outvalue these other players.
It's time to settle.
That being said, these other players are fighting each other very aggressively. This Leon needs to find a feather. They did find a feather on the ground. Luckily enough, Trail only has 2 feathers, so being able to find a feather at this stage of the game on the ground on Trail is very unlikely.
Busker Heart performance will now begin.
Keddsan's doing okay. The only problem is that a lot of times okay isn't enough. They're in a situation where a lot of these other players are ahead of them and have more food. And in the case of like Yuki specifically, like Yuki already has an orange weapon and is not dead. Like that's the big thing, is that they're not dead right now. And we don't actually know how much food that they have, but like Tachyon Blade gives them the ability to just pull ahead naturally anyways.
It may be unpleasant, but I will be
Yeah,
your worthy
and
opponent.
they're going to be able to get more food. They're going to start really outvaluing, but like he's only taking 30 damage from Plenilune Gaze, and Plenilune Gaze has a lot of food. And like this is just kind of the natural trade. What that's going to start happening is that he's going to be able to drain food from other players twice as fast as other players can with him, with the exception of Sylvia. Sylvia will actually be able to just not care, just blitz people to death. And on top of that, the Sylvia's getting free hits, which is no small deal. Free hits are awesome. Ooh. 89 crit. I mean, this is part of the reason why I don't particularly like hand Sylvia over gun Sylvia. It's just the extra damage from going EBM17A1 is no small deal at all. I'm just like so used to playing Sylvia and having like easily 100+ damage, but you know, hand is a very weak weapon type. But that's just always how it's been balanced.
Camera is rolling.
Oh, Plenilune Gaze had a defect. That explains why he was dealing so little damage. Okay. It's unfortunate. I mean, Miwa will be able to catch up if they're able to just like randomly kill the Yuki, but the Yuki seems to have a decent amount of food. Unfortunately for this Leon. Oh no. They misclicked. I saw they exited.
Camera is rolling.
Well, that's... What are you going to grab? You're going to grab the arcane... Oh. Goodbye. Well, we're not doing this today. Now, luckily for... Uh-oh. 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 Run! Run! Oh, he killed him. And then he died. Miwa has Tachyon Blade. Miwa's back in the game, boys. Miwa, Miwa, Miwa. Yeah, I saw that misclick. I saw it. And Keddsan is fairly behind. I'm fairly certain. Actually, no, their damage is actually fairly even. But that's also just, what's it called? That's also just Jenny scaling, because Jenny has low stats. just to make up for the fact that her skill is so good, right? Like, she just healed for 150 from her skills alone. That's insane. Like, most characters do not get that. So it's just a question of, like, how much full heals this heart has, which is just not much. Yeah. It's not going to be enough. So, looks like Miwa is able to clutch this game out. Oh? Oh yeah, that's right. He has a Crimson Flower. He's fine. Miwa's fine.
Camera is rolling.
Good game, Miwa. Miwa played a very rough game with multiple players ahead of him at multiple stages of the game, but was able to just play consistently, get that random kill on the Yuki, and just win the game. Very good play. So we are going to see Miwa in the final rounds. No SS this round. I mean, that's actually kind of just what happens when a game is so close, is that there's just not enough food for somebody to pull ahead that much. There were like easily like 5-6 players all just kind of battling out, all of them having the potential to get first place. Well, actually no, it was just 5. The other 5 kind of just died. Unfortunately for 7, they died early. We'll see if in the next rounds that they end up playing, they might actually end up tryharding just so that they can get a shot at the 28,000 gems. So we'll see what they do. Some very good play from our players.